What is up, metalheads? This is Sandy the Sandman Robinson coming at you live on a balmy, cold day in Calgary, in Canada. Up here, I am here for our launch announcement for the Geek Tournament that we've been doing. As you guys know, I have been the commissioner of the Full Metal Geek League since its inception. We've been doing many play-ins since July when we started this one, multiplayer format to fill out our 16 roster inner Geek tournament that we are starting up very soon. And I'm here to just to let you guys know that that bracket has now been completed. But I'm here to mostly just say that I have stepped down as the commissioner of the Geek League, and I have handed those reins over to a great team that is going to continue to do and put out this great content. I'll still be involved as a peripheral person, from it. But I've handed over the team to this team, and that these people are Robert Hobbit Parker, Renee Villarreal Jr., and Cody Newberry have started this team, and they are here with me, except for Robert, he's working, but I have Renee and Cody with me. These guys have taken the reins. They've already started everything. They've got the brackets set up. We have a brand new format for rounds 2 and 3, and they're going to explain all of that to you guys as soon as I shut the hell up and stop talking and let RJ and Cody talk about this stuff. So it has been an absolute pleasure. I want to thank every single person that signed up and played in playing games. Thank you very much for that. The regular season will start after we announce when the championship will be crowned for the Geek Tournament, and then we will start the regular season up, and everybody will have another chance to play. So once again, thank you very much. RJ and Cody, take over. I'm just here.
All right, thank you so much, Sandman. Like he said, my name's RJ. You may know me also as Renee Villarreal Jr. I'm sorry, I have like 5 different names. Nobody can decide what they want to call me. You can call me RJ for right now. Over there with me is Cody. Like he said, so this video right now is just a real breakdown for the tournament for y'all. Like he said, we have finally solidified our 16 players who will be in this tournament. We're going to break down the bracket for you a little bit and explain the new round 2s and 3s that we'll be introducing. But let's go to my other admin real quick. Cody, how you feeling, man?
I'm excited. I think this is a fun thing to take over. Sandy did a great job pretty much laying the groundwork and getting all the players picked. And he set us up with a great team with you, me, and Robert. I think that we'll be able to do great things with this league, and I'm excited. The tournament is going to be very exciting. I think we've got some action-packed players, so I'm excited to break that down.
Absolutely. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and do that first. We'll go ahead and start with the bracket itself. So as we said, we had 16. First, we had all those matches that everyone was playing in. You know, it wasn't about really necessarily winning or losing. We had 8 matches. We set it up, and we had our top competitors, our top 7 actually. There was a minor mishap, but we'll get into that way down the line. But 7 competitors did earn their spot in the tournament by winning their matches. The other ones were filled automatically by how well the others performed in their matches. So I guess go ahead, Cody, if you want to start with the left side of the bracket. Let's start with the left top and talk about our number 1 against our number 16.
All right, yeah. So the number 1 seed put my storyline out of the side and put that he's my my client, but Robert the Hobbit Parker, no real shocker there for most. He is the Fandom Fights champion over Multiplex, and he earned the number 1 seed, almost 89% in his one match, which is insane. I'm pretty sure he does nothing else. And normal that when you're the 1 seed, you play the 16 seed, and you think you got a great shot, you'll blow him out. But this is actually not the case. I think this is actually a very hard matchup for Robert, and that's Matt Queller. He's the 16 seed. He had a rough play-in, not his top trivia that he normally does, but he definitely earned his spot, and it's going to be a very interesting match between him and Robert, I think, round 1.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I don't think anyone is surprised that Robert Parker took the number 1 spot. out of all these matches. I mean, the dude, like you said, 89%. He almost went perfect in his entire match. He actually leads the scoring by 5 points. He outscored everyone else who earned their spot. The closest person to him is still 5 points behind. That tells you how dominant this man is. And Matt, I talked to Matt before his playing match. That dude didn't even realize he still had a shot in the tournament after he lost his match. He was a little misunderstanding of it. But you know what? He played his heart out to win that match. It was a great match. Just to let everybody know, it was him and Andres
Zabala.
Sorry, just had a soda. I'm sorry. Zabala. They played a hell of a match. They were the first ones to try the new format, which we'll get to later, and they put on a hell of a show. But Matt came out on top, and yeah, I don't think Robert's going to have an easy time in his first match at all.
Absolutely, I don't.
It's definitely a marquee matchup. I mean, you've got the Hobbit, who scored the most amount of points, and you've got Matt, who had to play himself into that last spot. But sometimes desperation breeds confidence, and I think that he's going in thinking that Robert's going to beat him. But once again, you just got to play your game right, and hopefully, the spins in your favor. So good luck to Matt and Robert in that first round.
Yeah. And we'll do this for each one. Let's see, just off the top of your head right now, Sandy, who you got? Who you got coming out of that first round match?
As much as I love Matt, I've got Robert coming out of it, but I think Cody's right. I think that it could be closer than people think that it's going to be, but I have Robert.
And Cody, any different?
I'm contractually, I'm under contract to say Robert the Hobbit Parker in every aspect of anything geek related. So I'm going to go with Robert.
You know what? This is one of those matches. I'm going to actually go for the upset. I'm going to say Matt Queller. I'm going to say Matt Queller is going to shock the world and be the one to take out the Hobbit.
We have this on tape right now, folks.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I like rooting for the underdogs. Like I said, Matt Queller fought his way in. And I think he's got the fight in him to take out Robert. I think
coming from the guy that's in this tournament and hoping maybe that might be the outcome.
No, not at all. I won't even make it past the first round, but we'll get to that later. All right, go ahead and jump down. Still in that same little corner, but give him the next match right there.
Oh yeah, so the 8 and 9 seed is a stacked match. Maybe not in the terms of geek for some. I think movie trivia in general is probably their main strength, but Jacob London versus Luca Fallon, that's scary. Like, if Robert or Matt, that's the next matchup in our round 2. That's how tight these scores were. And I have no idea. This is like the pure 8 and 9 matchup in like an NCAA tournament. It can go either way. It's a flip of the coin. So I think that's an exciting matchup right there.
Sandy, what do you think about this one?
Well, it's interesting because, like, I had spoken to Luca and asked him when, he wanted to come back, because he had, taken some time off and he had been away from the community for a little while. So I had reached out to him and asked him, hey, listen, if you ever wanted to come back, let's get your feet wet. You can play some geek. It's not his natural realm. So he was like, yeah, all right, whatever, it'll be something fun and easy for me to get back into. And that was fine. He had no expectations that he was going to play well and score into the tournament. Jacob London, on the other hand, like, he does, I think, believe that he has the skills to take this tournament. And he showed that, that he did have some skill and put up some decent points. I am with Cody on this one. I think that this is a real toss-up. I think that this is the real toss-up. But if you're going to make me pick, I think this has the potential of being Jacob's match. If he, goes in as confident as he really does, I think that he's got the advantage over Luca, because Luca, just like I said, doesn't believe that he has the skill in this particular grouping of questions. So I would give this one to Jacob.
Yeah, I like the evenness of this match too. Like, just reiterating what y'all say, these are two, some would argue, titans of regular movie trivia. So for them to come into geek and them to make it in this tournament is already in itself an impressive feat. But I do have to agree with Sandy but I have more confidence that Jacob will just take this. I think confidence has a lot to do with it. And Jacob has that confidence going in. And I think that's going to play a big factor in there when you need to just pull something that you may not remember entirely. Confidence is usually what it takes to get 1 or 2 points ahead of your opponent to have the advantage. And even though this is the 8 and 9, I have to give a more favorable to the 8 seed, which is Jacob. I think the fact that he is number 8, that means he is the top ranked of those who did not win a match. And I think that speaks volume. So I'm going to have to go with Jacob.
If I could touch on that for a second, like the thing is, Jacob missed winning the match by 1 point. He has 62% of his match. And if he would have played in only 3 other matches, he would have lost. The rest, he would have tied or won the match. So, yeah, Jacob played a heck of a game. Had a little few stumbles in round 3. But since round 3 is kind of changing, which we'll touch on later, I'm going to give the edge to Jacob as well. I think Jacob will take this just because of his overall geek knowledge.
All right. Well, I will continue on this side of the bracket. We're staying on the left, going down to the next little corner. So the first match of this one, we have the meme queen herself, Jen Kemp. I believe not really around Full Metal that much, but she is in this tournament at the number 3 spot, and she will be taking on the 14th seed, which is everyone's favorite person to hate, and that is Caleb Coho. Now, we all know how Caleb is when it comes to geekdom. He feels this is his strength. 14, it's not anything to like say impressive at, but it's also nothing to snark at if you guys could actually look at the stats, how close all these spots came down to. I mean, we had to have a play-in for the 16th seed. That should tell you enough how close these scores and percentages were for these players. But you can't deny Jen, another titan of regular trivia, and it speaks volume here already. I mean, she knows these movies, and for her, I feel like that even helps her more because it's a narrow margin of the movie she already knows that she can put into this. I mean, this one, there's a chance for an upset. Don't get me wrong. There is definitely a chance. But I got to give it to the meme queen for this one. Cody, how you feeling about this one?
Yeah, Jen showed up in that play-in, and that was one of the strongest matches that we had going into the overall. Some high scores. Everybody, mostly, I think there was like 2 from that match, or maybe only 1 from that match that didn't actually make the tournament. They all scored really high. Michael Campbell was in that match. Luca was in that match. Jen was in that match. And it was just but again, just how Jen plays trivia. She just threw her jabs and stayed at a distance, and no one could touch her at the end. So I can't stand Caleb. Everybody knows this. Caleb is outside the community. Caleb's fantastic. Inside the community, inside his little kingdom that he likes to run, can't stand him. So I will not vote for Caleb in this. I will have to vote for Jen, and that is me being very biased. Very, very biased.
What are you thinking, Sandy?
Well, once again, Jen was another person that I reached out to. She hadn't played in Full Metal for a while. She'd had a bit of a little bit of a run of bad luck in the Worldwide Movie Games singles division, and she hadn't played for a little while. But she's always told me that this is like the geekdom, the inner geekdom type movies are her favorite. Like she loves the space. She loves being in that space. So when I asked her, she was nervous because she'd had some bad luck. But I said, no, listen, you're the meme queen. This is your comeback spot. And what ended up happening? She went in there and she put up a pretty, like Cody said, a pretty good performance against a group of people, that almost all of them made it into the tournament. So she was in a match that was pretty deep. So her versus Caleb. I've said this for a while. I think Caleb is one of the most players that has come around, in a little while. I think that he's got the skill. If he can rein in the ego and just play a game and just play from his own strength and just be okay and leave the theatrics aside for a bit and just focus on his game, he has an opportunity in this match. There's no question. Do I think that he's going to beat Jen? I do not. So I picked Jen in this one. But like I said, I think Nico. I think if Caleb can keep it under control, I think he's got a good shot to make it a good match. But I'm still giving it to Jen.
All right, and I have to admit I'm a little biased in my decision myself. For those who don't know, those who haven't heard, over in multiplex, my next fandom match is against Jen. I'm not confident I will not walk out of that match with a victory. So I'm a little biased about who I'm going for in this because I'm already terrified of her. But let's go down to the last match on this side of the bracket, which I argue is going to be the most exciting match of this side. And it is a rematch of the last qualifier we had for the Full Metal tournament. And it is the number 6 seed, Jeremy Adams, facing off once again against Sandy the Sandman Robinson. I mean, okay, for those of you who haven't watched that match yet, get help. It was a very fun match. But, man, that was so close. Like, a one-on-one match in the format we were doing it in, for it to be that close was amazing. Now, being on that match, here's how I see it. Questions, the way the questions were had a lot to do with it. And I've apologized to Sandy many times for it. But here's how I see it. I'm going to be brutally honest. I love Jeremy. I love Jeremy to death. But he got movie release dates in the second round. Had that not gone his way, Sandy would be in this tournament, most likely not even at number 6. I think he would be higher. To me, once again, I love Jeremy, but this is a no-brainer. Sandy's going to come back and prove to everyone why he's a geek player, and Sandy's going to take this match. Cody, let's go to you first. What do you think?
I remember that night when I got the stats from the match before I actually got to watch it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is a barn burner all around. It pretty much was Sandy 8 out of 10 in round 1, Jeremy 6 out of 10, and then his round 2 was so high, I was just like, oh, what did he get? I didn't know any of the backstory. I didn't know anything. I'm always a person on the thing that movie release dates in geek is almost an unfair stat because it's such a narrow space that you can pretty much pinpoint, especially where most of these geek movies are in the 2000s, so you can kind of throw a dart and pick a date. But that's my own hate on movie release dates. But I have to give the edge to Sandy. I like Jeremy a lot. I think Jeremy has a ton of questions. I think he's got it. But Sandy, I think if you drew Sandy's blood, you would see like Millennium Falcons fly through and a DeLorean. Like he bleeds geek more than anybody else. And I've always said this. He is my most feared competitor in anything I ever do because I think he's got so much knowledge up there and so much pull. So, and he never looks under pressure in matches. He may doubt himself, but he looks like the calmest person riding on a board ever. So I have to give it to Sandy. And I think Sandy is one of my dark horses to run in this tournament. I will literally say that.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Sandy, I'm not going to ask you to say who you think is going to win this match. I know that puts a lot of pressure on you because he is your Team 80's brother. But just how are you feeling going into this match?
Oh, I have no problem saying who I think is going to win the match. I absolutely think that Jeremy is going to beat me again and move on in the thing. Listen, people, even Jeremy sleeps on his ability to retain knowledge, and you know he may not be. He'll even say it to himself that this isn't his general area of strength. But you guys saw him in that match, and all it takes is one wrong decision to spin the wheel again, and boom, you're stuck on something, and you can't pull the answers. So how do I feel about going up against him again? I feel great. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be a fun match. It's going to be an entertaining match. I want to win, because like you guys were saying, this is kind of my area. I feel like when we talk about that, I'm right there with Robert Parker in lovability of this, of this space. I'm definitely a bigger fan of this space than I am regular movies, just because it's a little smaller and I can get a handle on it a little better. I just want it to be a good match. I really do. Whoever moves forward from it is going to be fine. But yeah, I mean, it just the way it worked out. This is how it worked out. And you know what? I thought we put on a pretty decent match the first time. That was fun and entertaining. You know, we're going to do it again for you guys. So whoever wins, I'll be happy. Losing to one of my best buddies is not gonna make me upset at all.
Sandman is gracious as always. I mean, like I said, whether or not, regardless of the results of this match, everyone should definitely tune in for this one. This one is going to be the most entertaining, the least amount of shit talking, probably the most shocked faces when someone gets it wrong. Like, just shit talking of like, dude, really? Come on. Like, you ever watch how Jeremy is with me when I miss a question? That's going to be them with each other the entire match, like if they ever miss anything. But all right, Cody, go ahead and start at the top of the right-hand side of the bracket. Let's look at what we're looking at for the other side.
The right, how you're reading the bracket is confusing me. Just
sorry, because I actually divided it. I know people. The picture we have is actually just a straight line. I rewrote it as like what a bracket should look like, so I apologize for confusing Cody.
What number are you talking about?
2. Start with the 2. Mm-hmm.
Go to okay.
Yeah, the 2 seeds corner bracket.
Gotcha.
The bottom half.
Okay. So RJ, my bracket wasn't good enough. We're already fighting in our team, so that's cool. So it's going to be Dominic Rizzi versus Paul Wolf. That's an interesting matchup. Dominic, the one thing he does not lack is confidence. I will tell you that. He is probably the most confident player we have here. He claims to know a ton of movie trivia, and he'll let you know he knows a lot of movie trivia, so that's good to know going in. Paul Wolf, you know, again, where all these seeding break down, it was just, I think if you throw all these players in a different match with different questions, who knows what the outcome? You never know. But I've seen Dominic play trivia, regular trivia, and geek. I would be almost to bet against Dominic in this. I think Dominic will take this match. I think when we talk about it, round 2 and round 3, they're interesting. I think they will change a lot of how you play, because instead of just general knowledge, I think what we are bringing, that it's going to actually be able to play the game. Who can play the game best? And I think that's going to be a key in all these matches. But on paper, looking at it right now, I have to give Dominic Rizzi the edge.
All right. Looking at this one, I can't disagree. I mean, besides my first claim, in any kind of bracket, in any way, anytime people make a bracket, it's always hard to go against your top 4. It really is, especially when you look at stats. It's always hard to go against anyone who's seeded 1 through 4. Dominic is a dominant player. I mean, we've seen him in regular trivia and we've seen him in geek, and he knows his stuff. He definitely does. Paul Wolf is a new guy. He knows what he knows. But from what I've seen, he's definitely going to have to pick it up to go good against Dominic. And that is the only reason I do give the slight edge to Dominic as well. That I think, because he knows that he knows his trivia, and it's not a cockiness. It actually is a confidence. And that difference, to me, makes all the difference when it comes to a competitor like Dominic. So, yeah. What do you think, Sandy?
Yeah, there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. And as easy as it could be to mistake Dominic as arrogant, he brings the goods when he plays. And, you know, he's shown in both that he can back up what he talks about. And he's never disrespectful about it. But I happen to know Paul a little bit better than our fans do right now, just because I've seen him compete in a couple of things before. Paul has got a wealth of knowledge that people don't, I think, sleeping on a little bit. He was really thrown into these tournaments. And I think the format really messed with him a little bit during his match, which made his score a little bit lower than it could have been. You guys were all talking, or RJ was talking that he thinks that the first round upset's going to be Matt Queller versus Robert Parker. This is one where I actually think that it'll be super close, and if Paul gets a good spin in round 2, I think he's got the chance to upset Dominic in this match. But if we're betting on who's going to go through, I really don't think that I would be doing my pocketbook any favors if I bet against Dominic at this point. So I will say Dominic pulls this out on a closer match than people are going to think it is.
All right, not bad. All right, well, Cody, let's move on to the next match. Not that it matters. Nobody cares about this match.
Let's just talk about it real quick. It's a great match.
No, it's not. Shut up.
Do you want me to announce it?
Yes, y'all talk about it first.
All right. Well, we got RJ. RJ won a match, regardless what anybody says. You literally outperformed 4 other players in that play-in to earn your spot. What needs to be also said is you started in the bottom of the basement. Your round 1 was pitiful, and you know that. But you turned it on and ended up winning the match. So pretty much what I say is how you play the game. You literally literally went in with 1 point and turned out 7 straight points out there to get your win. And that's by the way, in a round 3 that got negative points. So you could have easily erased all your work in round 2, but you ended up scoring points. So he's facing, again, no easy task. And RJ is actually the higher seed. And that's Jake Marangoni, the Maestro himself. Wow, this is a match. And I'm going to basically how I rule this one. It's who plays the game best. This one is going to be a key gameplay. What you do in round 2 and what you do in round 3. If you throw the category that you think you're semi-strength to try to test the wheel, or you get the thing, or what you do in round 3, I think will make or break this match, because Jake has holes in geek, just like RJ has holes, even though he hates, I think, director questions and composer questions. So if he gets that, then it's a technical knockout, whatever. But I'm actually going to give RJ the advantage on this. I really do. I think what people don't know about RJ is he looks at stuff, he studies it. I think he'll come in with a game plan going in, and that's why I'm giving him the edge. I'm going to give RJ the edge in this match. No offense, Jake.
Okay. 1 point out of 10 questions round 1, and yet came back to win. And I don't want, and Cody mentioned it, and I don't want this to go unnoticed. RJ didn't get a single point negative in round 3. He scored all of his points were plus points. He got all of the questions that he was asked correct in that one. Cody is absolutely right. This game requires strategic planning, and you can bomb the round 1, but as long as you are smart and as long as you've got a handle on how to play the game properly, you can still win your match. And yeah, you got to get a little lucky sometimes. But to be completely honest, the people who play the game the best are the ones that win the most. And they know when to take it. They know when to take their repeats. They know when to do their, to do their challenges. They know when to do that kind of stuff. Jake is a great player. There's no question about that. But RJ's been around the block a lot, and this is once again, like me and like Robert and like so many others in this division. He loves geek movies. He loves this space, and he knows his stuff. He's like a lot of us. We don't have a lot of confidence in ourselves, and he gets a little bit, he can get a little down on himself. But at the end of the day, I think that RJ's knowledge of the game and how to play is going to bolster him to a win in this one. I definitely don't think that the 8 that he put up, to win his match is an indication of his skill and his knowledge. But the fact that he won from coming so far from behind shows you that he knows how to play this game and knows what he's talking about. So I give him a narrow victory in this one, but a victory nonetheless.
Also, please, for everything you do, spell your words correctly, RJ, because Jake will be the first one to throw out a challenge, and I don't want to be on that.
Where my Clegons at? Huh? Where my Clegons at?
I'll say this just as, you know, somebody who's been doing matches the last, you know, like hosting matches the last couple of days. Clegon is not the worst spelling mistake anymore, so I don't want you to worry about that. Brian Fernandez now has the record for the worst spelling. He tried to spell Colonel, and it came out not at all like Colonel. It was bad. It was very bad. So you know, at least when you say Clegon, you can sort of understand what you're talking about. I have no idea what Brian wrote down on that board, but it was not a rank in the military. But yeah, so so you don't have to worry about that, RJ. RJ, be realistic with us here. I'll take the hosting for a little second. Be realistic here. What do you think your chances are?
Oh, slim to none. I'm not joking. Like, I really am not. I'm not trying to be underconfident. Like, I just don't think I am going to have the luck I did in that match. Y'all need to understand. Yes, I did only score 1 point. The second round
Killed it.
was Middle Earth. I got two questions right.
More than anybody else.
I didn't. Literally one right, more right than anybody else. Literally everyone else who played that match only got one question. Like, and then I didn't actually score perfect in the third round. I only scored 4. I rewatched. I actually scored 4. I did miss one.
I'm taking the hosting hat back. RJ, you're done. Listen, I'm going to give you guys one more little piece of knowledge about this. Is that in another league somewhere a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, RJ and I played in Inner Geekdom 3 times, and my record against him is 2-1. Here's a little known fact: the second match that we played, RJ technically beat me, but because he was the honest person, they told the people, the hosts, that they'd made a mistake in scoring, and that turned the game all over in my favor. So that's why I have a 2-1 record against him. RJ knows his stuff. He knows what he's talking about. He is absolutely not the right person to mention, you know, what his chances are in this match. I give him at least a 50% chance on this one, which means Jake has at least a 50% chance of this one. I think it's going to be close, but I think RJ comes out with it. Let's move on to the next one. RJ, you don't get any.
All right. I would still put your money on Jake. I'm just saying everybody else. Say 51-49. There, I'll be nice. Put your money on Jake if you're going to put money on it. All right, so we move down to the last corner of the bracket on the right side. The first match in that one, we have our number 4 seeded Eli McCraig against the 13th seed Jessica Morgan. Now, Eli, once again, number 4. That man is a beast. That man can just answer questions. It's crazy to watch him, especially perform in Geek. He's going up against Jessica. Jessica was a very dominant player in Full Metal. Matter of fact, the season 1 winner, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So she knows her movie knowledge. Once again, for me, this comes down to focus. Can Jen focus that knowledge solely into Geek? And will it be enough to take out someone like Eli? And for me, I got to say no. I really don't think she has it to beat him just because I've seen him play. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a girl or anything like that. Eli is a monster. And I know Eli wants Robert. He wants Robert bad.
Good luck.
So he has to take his whole side to do it. And I think he will. So I'm definitely giving this one to Eli. What do you think, Sandy?
This one's a tougher one for me because I've seen awesome Eli play and I've seen bad Eli play. So he's either really, really good or he just absolutely shits the bed. You know, so whichever Eli decides to show up, it could determine this match. Jessica is a pretty even player all the way around. You know, she doesn't you know, knock the walls off with her scores, but she also doesn't end up in the basement very often either. You know, so depending on the questions, could give Jess, an advantage. But I think if we're just going skill on skill, I think Eli has, quite a bit of knowledge in this realm. And I think he takes it I think he takes it in a pretty handily. I don't think that it's a TKO or a KO, but I think that he wins pretty handily. So Eli is my pick on that one. Not that I don't think Jess will do well. I think she will.
All right, Cody, what are you thinking?
So I'm going to be a little bit honest with this one. I think Eli wins this handily. I have nothing against Jessica. I have been on the other side against Eli. I've played Eli. I've watched him play matches. And how he just sits in that chair and acts cool, calm, collected most of the match and just puts the pin to the board and ends up winning matches. This is his realm. Beyond anything else, I think that I will say what Sandy created in this league is the toughest questions I've seen in Geek. Matches where I watch Inner Geekdom in the Schmodown and I get maybe one, maybe a couple, maybe five. This I get hardly any because he's that strong. It's that hard of questions. So you have to bring your A game to beat Eli, and I think Jessica's great at movie trivia, but Geek is a whole nother ball game, and it's going to be a uphill battle. I think Eli's one of the dark horses in this match until he fights Robert, pretty much.
All right, and that brings us to our final match, not the least at all. We have the number 5 seeded Kevin Smets. Is that how it's pronounced, Sandy? I should have asked before. Smets. Okay, good. And he's going up against the number 12, Michael Campbell. This is a very interesting one as well. Kevin did win his match, and he has made it very clear to us that he reminds me of Caleb, but in a more legitimate way. This guy has no fear when it comes to Geek. This guy is like, I'm here. I'm going to win all these matches. I'm going to reign. Yeah. But with his performance, it's a little bit more validated than Caleb's overness that we get. He's not theatrical, but he definitely does almost give you that sense of overconfidence. Then you have Michael. Michael, as of right now, as of the filming of this, half of the team champs in the standard division. I mean, you can't deny the man's regular movie knowledge. He did pretty solidly well in the stats for Geek. But he's just got to bring his A game. I think this one will be pretty close. But once again, especially for this tournament with everyone that's in it, I think confidence does play a big role. So I got to give it to Kevin, maybe I would say 65 to 35. I got to give it to Kevin. Cody, what do you think?
Sorry, I'm yawning like a beast over here.
Don't even worry about it.
Michael, me and Michael have history. If you watch Multiplex Warzone, me and him went head to head, and I won, which shocked the system, but I did. But he has to have the worst luck in the world. I will honestly say that he is pretty much the Matt Nost of questions, all right? Because he gets some questions, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is ridiculous. So what I will say, if it goes all Michael's way, I give Michael the edge, but I have to give Kevin, because Kevin kind of impressed me in that match. He played one of the shorter plans that we had and won. He did seem a little I wouldn't say cocky, but it seemed very confident going in, which could, when you are a higher seed and you have to play somebody lower, you don't prepare as much, you maybe not practice much, and then you get laid out. So I wouldn't be surprised if Michael can pull the upset, but I'm going to give it to Kevin on paper. I think this league right here will be all decided by the new format that we're implementing. I really do.
All right, Sandy, how are you feeling about this one?
Listen, I've gotten to know both of these competitors, over the last little while. Of course, Team 80s has some history with Big Picture. We've got a match playing against them that's going to be dropping soon with the new relaunch. So everybody make sure you watch that, see and see where that history goes. Michael's a hell of a competitor. He really compliments Paul really well on in Big Picture. Usually when Paul doesn't know something, Michael will, even if he doesn't quite know it, he knows a little bit, and that'll spark Paul's steel trap of a brain where everything known to humankind movie wise is sitting there, and he can pull the answer, and so they work really well that way. He was nervous when he came into Geek. He didn't know if he was going to be able to hang with some of the big competitors that we have, but he showed that he could put some points up. That being said, I've gotten to know Kevin, as well. This dude lives, breathes, eats, and craps inner geekdom titles. The dude is he's like a savant like this. Yeah, I mean, the questions were hard. I made that very clear at the beginning of the tournament and during every match. We needed to find the best inner geekdom players, the best geek players out there, so that we could get this tournament. It would be an exciting, and everybody would be completely into it. And yet Kevin was still able to come in fresh, never played one game in Full Metal, never played anywhere else, and he was able to pull off a score that put him as the 5th seed. So it'll be really tough for me to pick anybody in this match but Kevin, just because I know his desire. The dude, when he didn't get the number 1 spot, when he didn't score as many points as Robert did, the dude just went and started watching movies like nuts. Like, he would message me and say, "Hey, I just watched all of these movies," or "I just all of these." So he's not taking this for granted. He is absolutely somebody who's confident in his skills, but he's not overconfident or egotistical about it or arrogant about it. He just knows what he knows, and Cody's 100% right again on this one. The new format that we're going to talk about after we talk about this match, the new format's going to be a game changer, and people are going to have a chance. Everybody's going to have a chance in the new format. So, could Michael beat him? Yeah. Will he? I don't think so. But puncher's chance, right? I mean, who would have thought that the Red Sox would be leading the MLB right now? Who knows? I mean, nobody thought that. Oh, sorry, Cody did. I'm just happy I'm just happy for everybody in Boston that can go to that furniture store and get a free furniture now that they made it to the playoffs. So,
not the thing.
Is that not how it works, Cody?
They had to get a no-hitter, and we didn't throw one.
Oh, okay. See, found a way to screw you guys out of it again. Last year it was make the playoffs, and yeah. So sorry about that, Bostonians. I got your hopes up.
I'm done with your disrespect, Sandy. I'm done.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I was hoping you guys would get a free lawn chair out of it, but
I'm picking Jeremy in the round now.
But anyway, my pick for the Michael Campbell, Kevin Smets match is going to be Kevin Smets. I think it'll either be a big win or it'll be really close. So, but I'm going to give Kevin the win no matter what.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is the entire bracket. Feel free to make your own brackets if you like. I actually just did in that whole time. Cody and Sandy were talking. I actually did my bracket all the way to the final. Haven't decided who's going to win it yet, but I do have my final too.
Wow. Look at that.
What?
Well, yeah, because you already picked that Robert wasn't going to be in it, so I'm really interested to hear what your final.
Well, actually, this is his new bracket he made himself. So who knows if the matchups are actually going to meet the correct way?
Yeah, that's true.
I actually just I'll tell you right now. I have in the finals. I have Sandy v. Eli. That's my finals.
Wow.
By everyone I bet on in the matches, like looking at everyone afterwards, I have Sandy v. Eli in the finals.
I have my finals too.
Who you got?
I actually have Robert because obviously, and Sandy. I have Robert versus Sandy.
Well, that would be a semifinals. then who would they play on the other side?
No, I'm in the bottom half of the bracket. So.
You wrote that however you want, but the bottom bracket can't work that way. It's got to be.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right. That was my bad.
Yep.
Sorry, I reversed 2 of them. That was my fault.
But yes, I believe Sandy is. He's got knowledge up there. I think Robert is. I just can't bet against him, even though with me being him being my client, but it's just it's scary with both of them, just the stuff that they can pull out about the movies. And we got to realize, like, for the first half, Sandy was writing questions and doing all that stuff and, like, getting all these matches and heard all these questions and had to test these questions. So, like, he's got it up there. And they are they are so hard questions. So I can't go against him. I think Sandy's got a tough road if he gets there, because he's got to beat Jeremy, and then the winner of Jen versus Caleb, which is pretty much Jen, and then onward. So it's a tough one.
Hey, actually, switching them, I can still have Sandy beat Eli. I literally just switched their 2 brackets the wrong way, so I can still be right.
You can't.
But
because you have Robert losing round 1, don't you?
I do have Robert losing in round. I'm not kidding about that. I really think Matt will pull the upset. I think he'll pull the upset until the semifinals.
I think that if that actually happens, I think that if you look towards the west and a little down with your binocular, looking out as far with your super-powered telescope, you will see a mini explosion happen, and that will be the Hobbit's head exploding. And yeah, hey, listen, everybody's got a shot. Everybody's got a puncher's chance in any game. I think that it would be an absolute calamity if Robert Parker didn't make it out of the first round. But everybody's free to make their own brackets and have their own opinions on where they think this is going to get there. I bet you if we had 10 brackets come into Full Metal Media, that's right, Facebook Full Metal Media, you can throw your brackets up there and we'll keep track of them. But you know what? The simple fact is that 10 brackets go up, 10 different people will have a different winner. So I thank you very much, the 2 of you, for having me in the finals. You got me, both of you got me people that I think I will get absolutely demolished by. But it's you know what? If I face either one of those, I would be happy there. I think this is going to be a great tournament. I think it worked out better than we could have ever thought. I think we have a lot of really, really good players in there, and unlike March Madness, I think that even the 18th seed or the 16th seed has a chance. Has a chance to win this. So anything can happen, and that's why I set it up, and that's why we've continued with it, because I think that it's unpredictable and fun. All right, guys, let's get into what the changes are going to be for each of the rounds. I know that round 1 is going to stay the same. Where it's just going to be 10 whiteboard questions from a multitude of different categories. Why don't you start telling us about what is in store for them in round 2?
Well, this is going to be mostly me, so sorry, guys. I did a lot of this, so I'll do most of the explaining. But okay, so like Sandy said, you will all start in round 1, 10 questions throughout Geekdom, whiteboard round, same as always. Round 2 will change a little bit. Obviously, we are going back to for one-on-one, we're going back to still a wheel round. However, we are cutting the wheel down. We are making the wheel 10 now. It will be 10 categories on the wheel. It will be 1 strength for each competitor, 6 random categories selected, and then there will also be players and opponent's choice again. That will be coming back into the format. We are calling it heroes and villains choice. I don't care if you think you're a villain. It obviously means if you get hero's choice, you get to pick. If you get villain's choice, your opponent will pick. I don't think that needs to be explained anymore. Of course, round 2, once again, we're bringing back a multiple choice. Of course, in round 2, you can get 2 points. If you choose to go multiple choice, you get 1 point. There is going to be stealing as well. So a regular round 2 that we have throughout these leagues. Round 3, here's where things are going to get interesting. Round 3, we are going back to how the Schmodown does with the 2, 3, and 5 question. Of course, a 2-pointer, 3-pointer, 5-pointer, the difficulty of the question will increase with the number of points. How you will get those questions is the new way we are going to do it. There will be a permanent 3rd round wheel which will have between 15 or 16 categories on it at a time, not including player, hero, or villain's choice. It will actually be 16 categories. These, of course, will go to the categories we already have, the ones you're used to. We may even throw in some that you haven't seen before, at least in our league. Scores and soundtracks can show up in there. Who Said It will definitely be in there more often than it is in our regular matches. Really, anything can go. So, for every question, the player will spin the wheel. Whatever it lands on, obviously, will be the question you take. Here is how we are making things a little different as well. Like in the second round, you are allowed one respin for your entire third round. How that works is, let's say Sandy and Cody were playing right now. Let's say Cody's down by 3 points. He spins for his 2-pointer, gets MCU, and he takes it. He scores it right. Awesome. He goes for his 3-pointer, and let's say he gets, I don't know. Cody, what don't you like?
Star Trek.
I was going to say that anyways as an example, but with Sandy here, he knows how I feel about it.
I just never seen it, so I can't.
It's okay. So let's say Cody spins Star Trek in his 3-pointer. He then has the option, if he would like, to respin to see if he can get a category he is more comfortable with. However, let's say he does. Let's say he gets DC and he answers correctly. Sandy gets his 2-pointer. Here's where things get interesting. Here's another thing I can do quickly. If Sandy does his 2-pointer spin, and let's say he lands on DC, that is still a viable category. As long as the question has not been answered in the same point value, a category is optional. So even though Cody got DC on his 3-pointer, if Sandy spins his 2-pointer and also gets DC, he has the right to keep it. He can also respin as well. But once again, say he gets his 2-pointer right and it goes back to Cody. Cody spins again, and we once again land on Star Trek. He unfortunately can no longer respin. You can respin on your 5-pointer. This is where we're talking about how the game's going to play. If you can save your respin for your 5-pointer, but you only get one. This is where things can get interesting, people. If you are down and you really feel like a 3-pointer or even the 2-pointer can save you, you can respin and try to get a better category, but it's gone once it is. You have to deal with whatever you get after that. These are what these gentlemen were referring to, how things can get very interesting in the third round now, and how knowing how to play the game will come into play. We have tested out this format. Our 16 seed match that y'all won't see actually did test it. It went very well, so we are going to keep it, at least for the tournament. If after the tournament we feel like we might change again, we might, but I'm pretty confident with the third round. Sandy, how are you feeling about our new 2-round, second and third round? How are you feeling how this might affect the tournament or the game?
Well, as one of the only people that tested this new format during that 16th seed play-in tie, it went over really, really well. It was unfortunate. It was, it just ended up being unfortunate for Andreas. He respun away from a category that he got his first 2-pointer right and respun in the third. He got DC in the first for the first questions, got it correct, and re-rolled and then rolled again for DC and spun away and ended up with composers and directors. Middle Earth. And it just was a question that, he got from The Hobbit, and he just didn't know. But it tested very well. I thought it went over really, really well. I love the fact that in round 2, each player gets to spin the wheel. I love the fact that you've got the option in round 3 that if you just land on a category that you are dog meat at, you have that availability, that one respin that you can use. And you know what? It can work for you or it can't. But the simple fact is, it's a great, different take on a round 3. And I think that it's going to work, especially in this version of the gameplay in the Inner Geekdom world that we're doing. But I think it's going to work out fine once everybody gets a handle on it and understands what's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be any change. I think it's going to work.
Cody, how are you feeling about these new formats?
I absolutely love it. When we were talking about what to do in round 3, I was just like, I don't know. Is it really worth reinventing the wheel? Can't we just do standard? And then this idea came about, and I was like, we can reinvent the wheel, and it's a perfect way to, because I love the idea now. So, for example, my client, Robert, in round 3, if he got a weakness, which he has none, which I won't announce on air at all, but if he gets a weakness and he's got the lead, he can just take that, see what he does, and then in the round 5 gets another one that he's not so strong at, respin and get Middle Earth. It can change everything. If you have the patience to wait, or you take those key opportunities that you're like, maybe he won't hit anything. I think what's going to ruin some people is when they choose to do the respin. I think that's it. If it's close going in and they don't want to hold off till the 5 and they just want to shoot for the 3, that's cool and all. But yeah, and I also like that it being called villains and heroes choice. I think that's cool. I think that's a cool spin on it instead of opponents. So. And gosh, when Caleb spins the wheel the first time, it'll be the perfect opportunity if he gets it, because he's a villain and we all know it. So I love the idea. I think it's going to be a fun format. I think this is going to be a mixture of knowledge and being able to play the game properly and not messing up your opportunities when they're presented in front of you. So I'm excited.
And just like to make sure that we give credit to where credit is due, the final decision on the format was done by committee, but the person who came to us with the idea was this person right up here, RJ. It was RJ's idea. He brought it to us. We did a little finagling with it, but essentially the idea was RJ's. So great job, RJ. It was a fantastic idea and a different take on something that, like Cody said, what else do you do? What do you do when everything has been taken already and you found a way to make it nice and interesting and put a new twist on it? So congratulations on that. Like I said, everybody, this team has got it all under control. They know what they're doing. They understand the game. They understand that you need to know how to play the game as well, not just answer trivia questions. And that's what's so great about the thing that we love the most, which is the Schmodown. So yeah, it's not reinventing the wheel, but it is reinventing the wheel every single time. So good job, RJ. I love the new changes. I don't think that I don't think that it. What are your thoughts on the changes?
Well, I'm just glad I was able to come up with a third round that works. Like everyone says, it's hard. We have so many different leagues among us. We have us here at Full Metal. We have Worldwide, which is coming with us, but they still have, those singles and teams have the way they do their third rounds. Multiplex has the way of their doing their third rounds. So, and Schmodown, of course, has its third round that we all try to derive from. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to try to find something that can be unique, that can maybe even change the game a little bit. When I came up with this idea, that's really all that came to my head. I was like, how can I take the third round and make it just that little bit more interesting? And that was the way I could do it, of just like, what if we actually gave people a chance to try to get another question? What if we put in that element of like, no, I don't want that. If we gave people that chance like we do in the second round, in the third round, to be like, no, like I don't want to take that risk. I'm going to take the risk of spinning again. So I'm just glad. I hope everyone who participates likes it. I hope everyone who watches appreciates it. But yeah, I think it's going to make this tournament a little extra fun.
Awesome. Well, I think unless you guys have anything else you guys want to bring up right away, I think that's going to bring us to an end. RJ, Cody, did you guys have anything else you needed to bring up to the good people out there?
Tournament will be starting soon. We are hoping to start by next week. So those of you whose names I mentioned, Robert, Matt, Jacob, Luca, Jen, Caleb, Jeremy, Sandy, Dominic, Paul, myself, Jake, Eli, Jessica, Kevin, and Michael, be on the lookout for messages from me, because we're going to start trying to get these matches done. So be on the lookout for those messages. I know everyone has their planning things. Like I said, just look out for the messages. That way we can start organizing. So other than that, the tournament will be starting soon. This is official. We are hoping to get it done by the end of this calendar year. If anything, the snowball event we want to do will have the championship match of this tournament. That is the plan right now, that we will have most of the tournament done by the end of this year, and next year at Snowball, the championship match will happen.
Absolutely. So that's exactly that was the last point that I was going to bring up. That we're hoping to have all of the rounds done and completed by the time that we're ready to tape for the snowball, because that's where we want to announce or have the match that the final match be for to whoever it's going to be to win the first geek tournament and be champion going into the regular season. Which will be starting up in the new year. We're hoping to drop at least one match every Friday, starting up very, very soon. So, like RJ said, make sure that you're on the lookout for your match room, and we'll get you guys done there for really, really as quickly as we can. So once again, guys, like I said, I have stepped away, but I am still here. But your main points of contact are going to be, like I said, Robert Parker, RJ, and Cody. So definitely reach out to any one of those three, but you can still reach out to me as well if you're looking to play or if you're looking to get into it. Like I said, nothing is going to be played until the new year in the singles division, until the tournament is all. But you know what? Get your name in there, because we will start concocting a new schedule for the new year of matches that we're playing in. There will be no more multiplayer matches unless you do like a triple threat of some type, but there won't be any more 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. It's going to be one-on-one for the most part. But once again, it'll be up to these guys to set that schedule. For me, I'm Sandy the Sandman Robinson. Very, very pleased to be with these guys, Rene Villarreal Jr. and Cody Newberry. Thank you so much for being here today, and good luck and congratulations on what you guys have already accomplished so far. I am merely here to answer questions and eat peanut butter, and I'm almost out of peanut butter. So thank you again. Full Metal Media is in full effect. Out.